Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be alternate Attax versus Forze, the third and final map. It's the final countdown. One of these teams is going to be going, well, they're already at home, but they're going to be going out. And yeah, one of them will be going on to face off against the Movie Star Riders for a place in that grand final. Of course, no Pro League spots available this time, but hey, there's pride, there's a bit of moolah. It's all good stuff, and obviously fantastic practice as well. But either way, we're into the map. Scrib's going to take it away.
Sure, I mean,
you don't have a choice.
Not really doing anything. Yeah, well, gonna have to do it now, aren't I? But yeah, the Nate not really doing anything there at the start. I do like this little boost. Quite a nice idea, but no one getting aggressive on the CT side. They instead are going to try and move in towards the lone B player. Mantu is going to call for rotations, though. It's sort of a bait play. Stefan spots out some action, some players towards the other end of the long hauls. Not a great deal going down so far. Just the CT's taking a tiny bit of damage here and there. And some small amounts of map control gain for Forze. For very little, actually. So they have the run-of-the-mill, so to speak. They have a lot of options as to where they want to go right now. And it looks like opting to fake B pretty heavily. Even going to sacrifice some players. Facecrack does manage to trade one back, but they're not really sold. Only spotting out one player remaining. No one really rotating away, but the kill's coming through. Almeza, of course, having such a great series so far. We'll pick up a 2K, brings it into a 3 versus 2. But yeah, bomb stuck in the pit. They need to eliminate Dude before he can cross safely. And there you go. As if by magic, Flit will do it at the perfect moment. So Cressy, what have you got? Can he find a 1 versus 3? Ooh, spots Facecrack, but beautifully held from Facecrack. And the pistol going to go the way of Forze.
Yeah, I'm always skeptical about like fake rounds where you sacrifice players. I think it's such a risky sort of play to make, especially in pistols, because basically you're gambling on those players finding frags. Now, obviously you're going to have faith in your players to do that, but otherwise you just run into a site with a disadvantage. Even still, works out wonderfully for them. They manage to just trade effectively, and then it comes down to just the 3 versus 2 ultimately on the site, and the T's are able to pull it off. It is going to be the 5-man barbecue stack, and well, there is absolutely no reason for the T's to peek in here other than to, you know, get an ace and make a crap load of money.
Yeah, I mean, easy, to be fair. I mean, it's going to be a difficult one. We kind of spoke about this, you know, all sort of jokes aside. Alternate Attax getting trounced in the previous map. It's a hard one to bounce back from, and we're both pretty confident in the Forze strength on Inferno, one of their better maps for sure. So Alternate Attax really going to have to pick things up early. The pistol, especially on that T side, there is a bit of randomness to it in places. It was a very risky strategy that they went with, as you said, on the Forze side of things. Sacrificing those players on B could definitely have kind of gone south for them, I suppose. I do like this. This is really different. I think the Dude actually dinked his teammate there as well, so a little bit awkward, but they managed to find the first kill with a interesting, unorthodox off angle.
Yeah, very high risk, but again, it's one of those situations where they don't really have the utility to challenge for Banana. You don't really want to just sit into the site and just allow the T's to execute onto you, especially when you don't have the counter nades again. At the same time, that's what they've fallen into here. And bear in mind, obviously, they've already got a player low. I'm a little bit disappointed by the fact that Facecrack currently has the bomb. I want to see him just go running and gunning. Use that MAC-10 for what it's good for. Okay, sure, having him planting the bomb means that the rifles are all up and watching, but if he's just going to run him first, that's so risky. Still, though, he manages to get past one. The boost will finish him off, however. So he's going to be dead on the site. Still the man advantage sticks, at least for now. Mantu has to be very careful. I think if he's higher HP, he probably takes more of a face there, but instead, his teammate will be the one to fall, leaving it into a 3 versus 3 situation. With him being so low is definitely a problem. And XE Power, that is some confidence from Almeza, I'll be honest. He turned away from that spot just to basically say, you know what, I have full faith. And now that somebody's died there, he's gone, maybe not. I'm gonna watch that angle now. But either way, at this point, CT side have opted for the save. They'll have the loss bonus coming up next round, but probably not enough to go for a force buy. So there'll just be a few pistols invested behind the rifles they've already got, unless of course they really want to buy and they can like juggle some Famises or something around. Cressy also getting 2 kills might make that a little bit more interesting because he can now drop an actual rifle rather than just the pea shooter that is the FAMAS. But yeah, I still expect them to just go for some pistols here. Play it safe. It's Inferno. This isn't Mirage. You shouldn't really be taking heavy risks. You want to make sure you have all the utility.
Right. I think that's a pretty good summary, to be honest, and that's kind of what they obviously go for here. Sword off coming in from Face Crack. Hell of a lot cheaper than it used to be. And it's kind of like a shotgun where it feels like, for me, how shotguns should work. Up close, you can just bop people straight away, as you see in the apartment's pretty effective. But anything further than like 2 feet away, and all of a sudden you're doing like 10 damage. So I'm kind of a fan in a jokey sort of way. And that's certainly what they use it for here. And it pretty much pays for itself with 1 kill. So yeah, pretty nice stuff. They find a kill in B as well on a boosted up player. And that means that Forze have got the advantage here and once again have got full control of the round.
This is ballsy from Slacks. Sort of plays that kind of need to be made in these situations when you are so far down. But bear in mind, he was the only player on A. And once he pushes, the T's now go barreling in towards that site. So kind of what I want to see here. Man2 give the AUG to Dude. He saves, and Man2 just goes and tries to do some damage with the D. I don't see any other option other than them just both saving, but kind of want to see a little bit of extra damage attempted. Obviously, they did quite well at removing weapons in the previous round, and I think like you allow Forze too much money and too much like opportunity to continue to buy. That's where things are going to become really problematic. And there you go. Dude's going to be given the rifle. He's got the Kevlar. Man2 just going to go for some 1-digs. There's the first. There's the second as well. And as long as Dude doesn't go down, this is absolutely fine. He survives on just 3 HP, but unless XC Power's going to do something really crazy, he should just be allowed to hold on to that AUG.
Yeah, they bring it close, but again, Forze just coming out on top of things. I mean, to be fair, with the buy, it's some pretty decent damage, as you can see coming into this one. Those extra kill bonuses will help out. A pause as well. Would be surprised if this is not from alternate attacks, in all honesty. They need to figure out what is going wrong quickly. Their CT sides have been their strength for the most part, especially over on Overpass, that first map that they won. So they kind of need to be picking things up pretty quickly, and it's getting into the territory once 5-6 rounds in a row come through from Forze. It can be very, very hard to get a foot in the door, so to speak. You know, they might get 1 round here or there, but then immediately get, as we used to say, reset, but immediately kind of swapped back on, you know, immediately shut down. I don't know, it's really difficult to find a word. Immediately, I don't know, like...
Setback.
Yeah, I guess. Like counter red, maybe?
I think that's too low. Just say setback.
Yeah, we'll go with that for
counter
now.
Red just sounds like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm betting it all on black. No, use the red counter.
Yeah, it's just a harsh one because it's really screwed us as casters a bit because now teams can't get reset. So.
Well, unless they win 5 rounds in a row with pretty much losing every single player, and then that'll be a reset. Yeah. Quite rare now. It's a rare breed of Counter-Strike term, but well, either way, CT side looking to get that number 1 on the board. That's the most important thing that everybody needs to understand. 1 is better than none in pretty much all circumstances, unless it's a disease, in which case maybe not. But either way. We are going to have the push coming round on towards the arch. It is going to be Cressy, ready and waiting. That AUG in hand, but the smoke's going to leave him isolated. Looking for a little bit of a gap around the smoke. Actually going to go straight through the flashbang. Very well placed from Stefan. The perks of seeing those flashbang assists will be wonderful. You can pretty much hear him saying it, just going, yeah, I got you those kills. My flashbang was perfect. At least that's what I would be saying at this point already. Stefan going to add another to the death toll and leave just 2 players remaining for the T's. With only 20 seconds left, they're going to just have to run in. And, well, Slack's not the most conventional place for an AWP to be playing. But, hey, if you can use it as a shotgun, why not? 4 players survive for the CT side. A great way to kick off their CT side. And, hey, looks like we're going to have a pause called in because the T's money has been wrecked.
Yeah. A really good round to pick up a really good time to get it as well. You know, and like you say, it's going to open that door and give them a chance on the alternate attack side to maybe find something, maybe find a bit of a comeback. Force Buy going to be coming in. I think for me, although it doesn't look great, it's sort of the smartest idea because there was such a discrepancy between, you know, Jerry having 1900 and XC Power having like 5.2k. It's sort of difficult to even that economy out. So the best way to do it is just make sure that you all buy down to the same kind of area. So we'll see if they can make this work. It's glass cannon AWP. Not ideal, especially on the T side, peeking into angles, but that's the opener they were looking for. Beautiful stuff. As again, his aggression pays off, and that opening pick might just be the spark that lit the flame, so to speak, in this round number 6 here for Forze.
I like the small detail of Crazy just shooting that AWP away. Trying to move it so that it can't be retrieved. Aggressive push down banana as well from Mantu will allow them to sort of gamble a little bit more. But he actually falls back. That's quite interesting. Maybe already expecting the push to come in on the other side. And actually, Jerry's already managed to pick off one more. So this is getting a little bit dicey now for the CT side. This was supposed to be their build into this CT half. Instead, T's now sit with a man advantage. Obviously, a few low players. Everybody now stacked up over onto this A side of the map. And there's going to be a rotation back. But Mantu has a good chance to actually cut this off. They know where he is. They managed to avoid his AWP. And Jerry's just dancing around, trying to set up his teammate. They found one kill, but that's the bomb. That's the bomb into the position of Mantu. If he can just defend his spot, he's got a chance. But Almeza wide peeks out. Ruins his day. If they have any idea where Stefan is, they can just go towards this B site and they've won the round.
Ooh, going to be given away. There you go. Bit of information gathering as they will leave Flit to hold things on the flank and maybe even find him. Stefan. Ooh. Short. And beautifully timed peek. Awkward spray down, but well played is, of course, Stefan making a lot of noise there towards short. So Forze immediately bouncing back. And it will be a 5th round for them and alternate attacks again. This is where, you know, that new loss bonus ruling comes into play. They will be able to buy straight back up, but it's still not going to be ideal.
Honestly, it triggers me so hard that Almeza peaked at the end, like before going towards the B site. Like the man finding information of where that last player was had the bomb. Ooh, Stefan just about getting away with that one. An aggressive peek. I like the deep smoke as well. Shouldn't allow for too much of a trade. And while they've doubled down, the aggression of alternate attacks working wonderfully here. Looking to try and close down Mantu. He's been pretty good at finding picks with this AWP. But also, he's not been playing overly aggressive. Like, you've got to give the man credit for the fact that he finds a pick, spots a second player, could go for the ballsy AWP play. Instead, smoke out, rotates around, and just gets a nice, easy pick instead. Doesn't take any real risk.
Well, another pause going to be coming through as it is that final map. Of course, all to play for here. A spot in the semi-finals, and I like this from these teams. It's something that we didn't see a great deal of in the first 2 maps was effective use of pauses. I think we had maybe 2 or 3 across the first 2 maps, and now we're already getting to that mark in this final one. So they're really talking things over, really trying to figure out how to, you know, pull around from the depths of defeat, so to speak, as they opt to go for the Force Buy, I suppose. Again, the AK available. Almeza having a pretty decent series. Not quite as incredible so far on this map, but definitely capable as that entry fragger. And again, it might be around that Forze can battle and pull, you know, out of the bag, so to speak. It's not quite impossible for them, you know, and they've got a bit of utility to play with. An opening pick could go their way. Certainly, with all of them stacked up. They will need to retrieve the bomb, though. That would probably be a good idea. But, you know, finding one kill and then they all burst out from the apartments, it could very quickly get overwhelming for the CTs, for sure.
Yeah, this round looks much more like a sort of money balance round, and they're actually going to really go running through. Well, dude's gone down. Slacks will be there with the trade, but this is now going to turn into a pincer. Even if it is only one man wrapping around, Mantu, he's got to try and find these kills, and he's caught between 3 players. Slacks has absolutely saved him there. Still, though, they're going to manage to get themselves on towards the site. Jerry's picked up an AWP and a chance, at least for a bomb plant. Jerry knowing he has to try and take a more aggressive stance here with that AWP with such low HP, and he will be able to find one. Second just about to round the corner on towards Banana. Same coming from CT in the form of Stefan. Now he knows there's an AWP here. They're trying to wait a little bit more patiently to see if anybody will give them the time of day. Anybody will give them that little bit of space that will just hand them the round. The fact is, doesn't seem to be happening, but actually that peek in from Cressy, that's the opportunity they needed. This nade is probably going to finish it, and well, that's perfect from Stefan. Reading exactly what Jerry would do on alternate attacks. They get the round. It's still scraped, but they will get it nonetheless.
Still, though, I suppose getting the bomb down is not too bad for Forze. They are still on the back foot, but coming into this round, going to keep the pressure on. Still able to get some pistols and a bit of armor out. Tiny, tiny bit of utility to work with. But again, alternate attacks, not as much breathing room as they would like. You know, a tiny little bit, really. Very fast up Banana as well. Catching one with the nades out. Dude's got to be careful here too. He will manage to clean them up, and that third player is kind of lagging behind slightly. Very fast rotations from the CT side. Maybe they could have gone and followed this through as a fake, but I think Forze weren't expecting that to work out just as much as alternate attacks were not expecting the early aggression. So it's a little bit all over the place here from both teams in the first sort of 30 seconds of the round.
Was that a CT Molotov?
I think so, you know.
I think that Slacks almost just killed dude in the corner with a Molotov. Wraparound coming in. Oh, chance for a trade, but Cressy able to do enough, and, well, Flit not going to be checking the angle for Stefan. Ultimately, it ends with 4 players surviving for alternate attacks, which is absolutely fine, but if you witness some of the battles, you realize that it really could have still swung the other way. T's will now come up with a buy of their own. They've been saving money for a while in order to make sure XC Power has that AWP going into this one, and the double orb's still going to be surviving for alternate attacks. Now, those sort of faster rounds, I feel, could be the death of this CT side, just based off the fact that they do have a double orb setup already. We're going to see the same sort of banana control picked up. Actually, more nades being thrown out. It seems that the T's are ready for it, though. They've got the counters, but actually, dude, he ends up going alone. It seemed like he would have had support there, considering there were multiple players, but I think the counter nades actually held back Mantu from peeking, and the dude was hung out to dry.
Smoke towards CT now as well, as they look to slow things way down on the T side once again. Kind of the nature of Inferno, it can be very difficult once you lose that control and the information of certain areas. It can be hard for the CTs to gain it back. And now they're very unsure, you know, is it going to be A, is it going to be B? They have to split the defense, and looking to rotate Stefan early. With this utility coming in, surely he'll come back, but a quick trade onto the player at Porch means that this A bomb site is right for the taking right now. However, again, from Forze, the bomb is so far away. Stefan very lucky that that was not a headshot. Takes a fair amount of damage. He actually finds the kill onto face crack there. Meanwhile, on B, some aggression from Jerry. I mean, it's a bit all over the place from Forze. It seems like they themselves are not sold on which bomb site they want to go to. And now it's a 1 versus 3 for XC Power. He's only got 20 seconds. The round's over. The bomb's too far away, I think, at this point. There's very little chance. I mean, maybe if he ran with his knife out the whole way, you know, back to the bomb and to B, but obviously that would be pretty stupid. So A 5th round now for alternate attacks. 4 in a row for them.
I think your last sort of phrase there almost summed up the whole round. It's just pretty stupid. Like I don't know what on earth happened there. They seem to work the picks well. They got the space, and then rather than gathering up as a team, making their way into the side, like they had deep A control before the peak came in. So they already knew that likely there's not going to be anyone in pit. The only position they hadn't cleared was all the way around to Arch, which, in all honesty, if the remaining 2 players gather up, they take that fight together, they get onto the site, they get a bomb plant. Instead, for some reason, we had a push into B. For some reason, we had a fight taken towards Arch. It just seemed like sheer overconfidence that they were going to win those individual battles that ultimately lost them around. A bit more team play from Forze, they'd be up 6-4 here.
Well, XE power going to fall early on, so the AWP no longer in his hands. Jerry does retrieve it, does have armor, I guess, but obviously the firepower that he has is not quite as high as XE power, but a missed shot from Slacks gives the T's the chance to at least get bracket control. As apparently that's difficult to say, but nonetheless, face crack. If he times this right, if he looks at the right angles, could find Stefan, and it is an off angle coming in, but it doesn't really work out. And now in on the side, Cressy has to do all the work, gets 2, but is that going to be enough? The AWP of Slacks at Library can't really stop the bomb from going down, but he does find the trade frag onto Flit, and face crack on 1 HP is the only one left. So far, it's an okay round for Forze, some good damage and a bomb plant. Certainly can be happy with that. If he can get any more, this could be incredible. And a great angle as well. Beautifully found onto the first. But there it is. The 1 HP dude is easily able to clean him up. Would have been absolutely insane if he managed that. But a 6th round nonetheless for alternate attacks is fairly costly.
Yeah, like a decent amount of damage done, but it's starting to get to the point where that may not really matter for them. Stefan sat, well, at least before the buy, on $13,000. Okay, sure, the double AWP setup is going to put a bit of a dent in their economy, and other than that, you still need maybe 2 rounds in a row, 1 for Forze to actually get back into this, and by that point, we're getting towards the end of the half, so alternate attacks obviously still wanting to try and get themselves more rounds than they currently have, expecting a stronger CT side from Forze, but ultimately they don't seem to be capitalizing on a lot of the advantages they've had already, though. Slacks will be burning down, obviously wanting to take a bit more of an aggressive peek on towards Banana. Instead, we'll just get some minor burns. In the meantime, though, the T's are completely committed over towards apartments. Looking like this is almost definitely going to be an A take. No real presence watching towards B at all. You see XE Power now starting to take a little bit of a check, just maybe out of fear that they are going to get flanked. But here comes the execute, here comes the smokes, and oh, here come the T's.
Mantu can manage to find the first. Might have to do a bit more here. Alm as a 2 bullets, 2 headshots. As inadvertently he finds that second kill through the smoke. They were lined up perfectly, and that is out of this world from him. Definitely sums up the series that he has been having. And Forze look to get a 6th as they clean up the player in pit. The B rotators want nothing to do with that, as it will continue to be competitive, continue to be back and forth. Forze, though, put an end to that little streak that alternate attacks had pulled out, and now maybe they themselves can get the lead back. I mean, it's so all over the place at the moment. There's a lot of money for the CT side, though. I think they should quite easily be able to buy up from this, and a kind of unlucky, in a sense, in that round. So it should, if they kind of gather their bearings, be fairly simple to bounce back from.
Yeah, money, as we already mentioned, not really an issue, especially with the saved weapons. Still, though, as I said, the double AWP setup, it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, it seems to work very well for this team. They brought it in on all 3 maps at the same time. It's a big, big cost, and well, it's starting to have effects. Mantu with limited utility, and considering he's playing onto the B site, that's actually quite a big issue. Although, luckily for him, no aggressive start here. In fact, he's going to be met with absolutely no one.
A little interesting. Flit will find Slacks, though. Kind of catches him completely off guard. As again, Forze really turning things up a notch. Taking it into, I guess, 7th gear. They were sort of already in the 6th gear, I would say. Very aggressive early plays once again, and this time it kind of works out. And things just not looking too good for the CTs, unless Mantu here is going to be this linchpin player, manages to find one and backs away. You're going to try and go for a second frag, in fact, but he gets smoked off. Bit of nade damage taken, but at least it's brought back into a 4 versus 4, and you know the T's kind of have to readjust now that their jig is up in the banana area. I'm not so sure about this though. It seems sort of the double fake kind of working out, because dude's very quickly rotated away, and now it's just going to be Mantu to hold things down on the B-bomb site initially. So he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders right here.
Yeah, a bit of a misread, and well, the CTs are finally going to start sending players back, but will it be too little too late? Mantu's actually going to be isolated from the site. Has no choice but to sit this one out, but he gets the no-scope through the smoke. That is as lucky as it gets, and, well, just look at the damage already done. Okay, there will be a trade back eventually, but all they're going to get is a bomb plant. Surely this can't be the case. Hexy Power, though, he's managed to find another one. He's definitely made things interesting. Swings it into a 2 versus 2. That AWP in his hand seems to be a big game changer at the moment. He's looking to come out. He gets himself one more and turns it into the 1 versus 1. He's given Flit a damn good chance here. He's a little bit unaware of which way he should be going. Those spots out. Stefan and finds the kill. What a round from Exy Power, turning that clutch situation into his favor. And pretty much not a shot missed in those last few seconds of the round.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff towards the end. If that flash had been slightly better, really could have turned the tide of battle, because I feel like, you know, it was well played by the CTs. It's just he wasn't blind enough to miss the shot, essentially. Now going to be forced onto a weaker buy. Again, it's definitely workable, but 2 SMGs in play, no kits, and limited utility. This really could turn things in favor of Forze quite heavily going into the latter stages of this first half. So we'll have to see. Again, I think the CTs need to find something a bit crazy, and maybe this is the setup to do it. 4 players at brackets. 1 boosted up slightly, but not entirely, onto the roof, the porch roof, I guess. And then we got Mantu and Dude on the other side of things. One of them smoked out, but one of them not. They're going to walk straight into the meat grinder here. A good couple kills coming through. A third as Dude pushes the smoke. Great crack angle as well to find Almeza. And a 1 versus 3 ensues as Jerry, blink and you'll miss it. His entire team disappears in a matter of moments. And he's left with pretty much the impossible here. The AWP retrieved and the AWP to take down Jerry pretty easily there. So Mantu a 3k, Dude a 2k. As something a little unorthodox was required, like I said, and it works out beautifully. They walk straight into it.
Yeah, Mantu really has been stellar with that AWP so far in this series, and well, Slacks, is there a secondary one dropped over? Yes, there is. It really is quite unorthodox to see like a relatively successful double up setup on the CT side of this map. It's just not that common because of the faster plays that are available. And well, here comes one now, running straight up banana. Mantu trying to defend off Dude, but he won't be successful. Only manages to stop the quell of 1 player. Still though, Fressy, however, has done a lot of damage. 2 kills to his name and a 3rd tagged low. Jerry, not in the best situation, however. We've seen this before. The problem is not the same angles. Exy Power, this is ballsy. He's going to go peeking in, actually finds Slacks before he can even react. He goes down. This AWP has been the bane of the CT side over the last few rounds, and now Jerry chimes in with an addition of his own. It's now left all onto Stefan. He's got to go for this. It is the last round of the half. He's got the smoke to at least isolate off 1, and Jerry is low on HP, so he actually has an opportunity here. The problem is, will he know where he is? Actually, he's got a damn good read. The Molotov actually going to come close to killing him and finishes off Jerry at that. But now he needs to get on the bomb, and he can't find it. It's lost within the smoke, and Stefan, lost and confused, will lose out that round. Forze 8 rounds in the end on the T side. Looking pretty strong.
Yeah, fairly chaotic. overall. And again, it's something that Forze seem to thrive in, is that chaos. They will just barely get the lead, but it kind of comes in with the caveat of, we've said in the past, alternate Attax got really good CT sides, or at least that's where a lot of their strengths lie. So they probably needed a bit more than 7. Meanwhile, Forze do have, also really, really strong CT sides. So it looks close, but it could very, very quickly swing in favor of the CT side right here. The pistol goes their way. They get rolling with the rifles, and it could just be an easy lockout for them, making the bomb sites completely impenetrable. So we'll see here. Maybe alternate Attax have got some ideas, but I think it's going to be really tough. I don't think that 7 rounds is quite enough for them, to be honest. I mean, it's good, but they're going to need to very, very quickly get off to a flying start here on their T side of Inferno.
Yeah, they've got to expect to be pushed as well. That's the thing. Forze are not going to allow them to play their own game. You've got to hope that their opponents have done their research. Xe Power already going to spot quite a bit of information, and because of that will fall into the pit. He's playing this a little bit weird, taking full axe control and then looking at the wraparound. The only problem is he might be caught in the rotations here. Flit hearing all the information. Oh no, he had the opportunity for a free, maybe even double. Instead, he's got absolutely nothing, still unable to connect the shot. This is Flit's worst nightmare. I think he's going to be changing resolution and crosshair after this one, as he's unable to find a single frag when they pretty much got offered up to him. He's waiting to see if Cressy will hand him a kill from the pit. Instead, it's going to be Almeza actually pushing it. He just gets 2. Almeza's like, hey, you can't do it, but I can find them all. Basically a 1 versus 3 situation there. And while Flip will come in with the kit and go, oh, don't worry, I picked up the kit. We're a team, we're a team. Team Forze, definitely not Team Almeza.
That MVP. RWS. But no, I mean, yeah. I'm not quite sure how he gets away with that. You kind of see it on the silhouette. I was on Cressy, and it was like, he was just crouching, walking into the site. It's like, okay, this is ideal scenario for the Glock. Slow-moving, up-close target. Should be easy peasy. But no, Almeza, again, stepping up when his team needs him, having a really good start to the second half, and maybe can repeat the performance that we saw on that first map. And this time, hopefully, for his sake, win the map. And therefore the game. So, yeah. But bomb going down, alternate Attax going to play it pretty safe. To be honest, I mean, super safe. They're really putting all their chips into that first rifle round, going their way. And again, as we mentioned at the turn of the half, it's pretty damn important that they get the first one in the bag. Having already lost the pistol, Forze are going to be up to 10 and could very quickly start running away with things on their CT side. And again, as we've mentioned across the series, a very, very momentum-based team. You give them that inch, they will take the mile, and they'll continue to, just walk all over you if you let them. So, a lot of weight coming into this next round for sure.
Oh. Mesa. Oh, he's almost been caught there. The man with the rifle down low on HP. I wonder if there'll be a cheeky switch. Jerry probably quite happy to have his MP9 in play here, as it is going to be the chance to just shred these remaining players. Rotation already looking to come in from Xe Power as well. They've got deep apps control, so realistically shouldn't be too worried about rotations, and all the footsteps will be heard through middle by face crack. But there's the timing shots. Complete mow down, and what looked like a possibility for some damage to be done early quickly dwindles. CT side, fantastic work there with the rotations. And, well, now we sort of look at this as a bonus round. Xe Power goes straight in with the AWP, so not so much of a bonus anymore. They still have a lot of SMGs, but this does allow them to get a hell of a lot of utility.
Yeah, that is true. They could certainly, force the T's into uncomfortable positions if this utility is used wisely. The XM10 can't knock it in apartments, but slacks. He's going to find that first kill. Xe Power goes for a late peek, and the blind wild spray from Mantu finds the head of Almeza. So alternate Attax off to a 2-man advantage in the first kind of 20 seconds of this round. pretty much the ideal start. I mean, it could not be much better for them. It's now on them. This is their round to lose at this point in time.
I like this decision from the CT side, though. Making the call to just all in. A or bust. Like, if the T's come in this direction, we have a chance to win the round. If they don't, we save. And I think this is definitely the best scenario. If they can keep all 3 players alive, they can buy. They have enough money to drop weapons. So I think this is definitely the best sort of decision that Forze could have made. At the same time, it is still crucial that they keep these weapons up. If they lose even really one player here, it pretty much throws the whole next chance of buying into disarray. Dude is already going to be jumping out onto the site, and, well, it doesn't get much easier than that for Facecrack. You can also retrieve the extra rifle, which really isn't going to be bad at all. Now, obviously, from this point onwards, they're going to save. There's absolutely no reason for them to try and retake this B site. It's difficult enough in an even scenario. In a 4v3, you're just not going to do it.
Yeah, playing things smart for sure. And again, they still have that lead, can still bounce back from this as the T side. It's a relatively decisive, relatively clean win for them, just off those opening 2 picks, really. And then playing the informational game. But it's still kind of scary. They've not quite built up enough loss bonus to comfortably buy. It sort of depends, but if they lose this next round in decisive fashion, then again it could be a really good opportunity for Forze to heavily start walking away with things. So they do need to keep up this pressure, do need to get a good 2 or 3 rounds in a row here before they can finally let out some of the breath that they're obviously holding in at the moment. And then, I mean, a good buy coming into this. I'm not so sure about the Mac-10. To be fair, it's always useful, but they really are going to have to put it to good use, not just kind of a wild play for Dude on his own, which seems to be sort of what he's going for a little bit. I feel like more of a Mac-10 bait play rather than a Mac-10 informational play, if that makes sense. But we'll see. Again, close quarters combat certainly could come out on top of things if things go the way of Dude, that is.
Oh, utility going to be expended as they burst their way forward. Dude, he's managed to pass a player, and that's already him down. Flit doing so much work since then, but the trades are going to be available. Quick flank from Jerry along with Facecrack, who is left lurking in the back lines, and now Cressy all alone. Should be going down here. Jerry with a fantastic round alongside Flit as well. He was the man that was sort of bypassed and just able to do work from the pit. Now the T's actually left in a bit of a predicament here. They've got the money to buy in a sense. The Dude's going to be left on a deagle. So they're already starting to hit that dwindling economy. If the CT side win this round, wow, they could be in real trouble.
Yeah, that is certainly true. All to play for then towards the tail end of this game. Never a dull moment. An aggressive play from Slacks. I like the idea, but unfortunately Facecrack, put him right into the palm of his hand and easily able to find the headshot to the Molotov and, just the sort of safety of going for a peek like that. Dude will be happy because he's now got himself an AWP, but needs to find some kind of a quick trade or a quick play. Smokes and whatnot to come through here from the mid-room balcony, I guess. Not really sure on an official call out for that spot, but I mean, it's pretty nice to throw them from there, I think, because you can very quickly run into the apartments and maybe catch someone off guard that's not expecting it. Bit of a different spot for the smokes. Always good to see a bit of theory crafting here and there.
45 seconds left on the clock. The T's looking like they're going to hit A once again. And actually, this time, the CT's with a bit of a misread. Flit actually rotating in the wrong direction. XC Power going to be forced further back towards the site. The only thing that's really going to play an issue here for the T's is the clock. 25 seconds, and they do have to get their move on. Facecrack going to be in the pit once again. He's been a bit of a tank from this position before. Spots that one. They know he's here, though. And Flit actually getting that kill could be a bit of a problem because his teammate then falls in turn. And one by one, we see every member of the CT defense right out of the round. And in fact, we're already going to see our Mazer just looking to run away with that AWP. It is going to be a 9th, an important bounce back for the T side. And, well, they're just going to be waiting patiently for this bomb to go off before they can fight for another.
Yeah, again, very, very hard to call in this third and final map of the series who is going to be taking it. Sure, Forze have got a slight lead, but I feel like that mostly is thanks to the pistol, you know? So I think the rifle rounds have been very, very close and very, very back and forth for the most part. And like I say, just hard to call. It's like very surprising. Alternate Attax have done really, really well. Forze having an incredible season, just a pretty strong team. We were expecting them to quickly sort of deal with this one, maybe one competitive map in there type thing. But ultimately, it would have been their series pretty swiftly. Alternate Attax kind of getting here on a whim as well, I believe. Not like technically qualifying, but because of some teams having other commitments, they're not so fussed. So it sort of frees up a spot for the next team down on the list. I think they were just outside of that playoff spot. So, yeah, I mean, doing really, really well so far and can definitely be happy, even if they don't win this one. Could definitely be happy with how they performed here today. A lot of damage done onto Power. Mantu with the nade to follow up as well. Going to tag him down to 12 HP. It's invisible damage, but at least it is damage that has been done, and Power going to be feeling the burn. And once again, another important round.
Yeah, I'd like that. That's sort of a follow-up nade, assuming the AWP's still there and taking a bit of damage from the Molotov. Like, it pretty much puts him in a position where this is so high risk now. Like, he's boosted up, sort of. He's not even in the normal boost spot. He's in one where it's much easier for him to get caught out by the T's as well. And he's on 12 HP, and they have no one else on that side of the map. So this is super high risk for Forze at the moment. And, well, no surprise after the flashbang goes in. Power is going to scurry back, and quickly the rotation from Jerry. I say quickly, he's walking, but will be coming over towards that site. And that's all that really the T's wanted. They now double back. They're going to head into A.
Okay, some nice flashes coming through. It's a little bit messy, but they're finding the kills, Cressy. The flying gazelle gets the headshot, and it's a 5 versus 2. Alternate Attax. They wait patiently, but as soon as they burst out onto that A bomb site, they absolutely decimate it at best. You know, they've taken maybe 100 damage worth of hit points, but that's spread across the board. No kills coming in. It didn't even look close for Forze. They just get absolutely picked apart on the A-bomb site, and Alternate Attax bouncing back really well once the rifles have come out on this T side.
Yeah, no, I have to say that the big thing there for me is it looks like they're orchestrating the play. Like, Forze in that round literally did exactly what they wanted them to do. They had the sort of early push coming out. They had the Molotov down to, like, burn the damage, the nade to come through afterwards to do even more. Then after that, the little pop flash that was thrown in just to force him back. They never even faced. They didn't even look towards the B side. They just, that second that flashbang went over, he's going to go scurrying back, pull another player off, and then they were straight up A to go for their execute. Pretty much in that round, Forze might have well have been reading off a script that was written by Alternate Attax. So very well played, very well orchestrated, and now things start to get dicey. CT side have the 2 weapons that they saved. They'll be able to get a buy into the next round, but not a particularly good one. And then it sort of comes down to, do they even really go for a buy? Like, you want to have that AWP. They want to have 2 by the looks of things. If they go for a buy in the next round, they won't even be able to get 1.
Well, it is tough times ahead. Oh, wow, Mazer as well. Very lucky to survive. If that had been in the head, those paper-thin walls in the apartments of Inferno, I think he very easily would have been taken down, but not quite meeting the mark. But it is, again, good damage to do early for very, very little risk, very, very little damage returned. Oh, but Exy Power up on the boost. Beautiful stuff. Something a bit different, something a bit unorthodox is certainly needed. Jerry as well at a strange angle here on top of a boost on the... Again, don't know what that's called, but he gets 2 nonetheless. However, Mantu comes in with 2 of his own. Slacks as well to drop Almeza on the back end of things. They will get the bomb down. It's into a 2 versus 2. Exy Power does have a kit available, but that AWP not going to be ideal. Retaking the B-bomb site of Inferno, as we have said before, notoriously difficult. Infamously difficult, even. They're still going to try and go for it, because they sort of have to in this kind of a scenario, but I think with that smoke going down, you'd pretty much have to just admit defeat, to be honest. But I like the spooky boosts coming in from Forze. Okay, no, wait. Exy Power is still going for it. Oh, the collateral. It comes through, but Exy Power gets a quick trade. However, no time. So an 11th round will go the way of alternate attacks.
Yeah, Mantu is going to be finished off on his escape, but ultimately they're going to play a big part. Tees will still be able to buy into the next round anyway, and they've evened things up, more importantly. CT side are going to be able to go for an investment into this round as well, so the AWP of Exy Power will be thrown up once more, and well, realistically that being saved is a pretty big deal going forward for this round. It changes thing a little bit. He's actually going to go for it. Oh, is this going to be the double up in towards Apps? I always quite like this. He's got to be very careful, obviously, but the idea is that if they face crack, Exy Power gets the kill. If they face the other side, face crack should get the kill. Well, that's the hope, at least. Unfortunately for them, looking like the T's might actually go for a fast play in towards the B side. I said over the last few rounds, the reads from this team have definitely looked good on the German side of things, but here we go. Flashbang over. Jerry left completely blind. They actually face into him. Smoke not going down, and even when it is, there's a gap in it. Unfortunately, now it's left all onto Almeza, who's only going to be able to get 1. And once again, the B side's under the control of this T side, and the CTs are left in a retake.
Yeah, the pesky B-bomb site. I'm not going to repeat myself from the previous rounds, as I'm sure we're all aware, but we'll see. They might be able to find it now a bit more even, and some slightly better weaponry, as well as a fully equipped Exy Power. Plenty of time to get this utility off as well. A well-placed Molotov will kind of confirm the fact that there's no one at new box, at least. Stefan, though, has got the best position. The flashbang not really working out for the CTs either, as Stefan finds 2 quick kills. Alternate attacks looking so good right now, so crisp, coming into the final few rounds, which is certainly when, you know, most teams would say is the best time to turn the heat up. And they are going to take the lead for the first time in this second half, looking really, really good here. And Forze just don't know what to do. I mean, so many rounds, they're getting caught off guard. They're only finding 1 or 2 frags before the bomb goes down, and the T's are just ripping them apart.
Yeah, it's starting to look like the favorites here are letting this slip. Like, really is falling away from them, and here we go. This is the sort of last-ditch attempt, a very aggressive push down. It's going to work out for Flit at least. They managed to get themselves 1. Slacks has to be careful here, looking to just run away, retreat back. The nade will slow them down. The Molotov there to support him as well as the T's. They've got the bomb down already. The AWP has been lost as well, which is not the best case. I don't think the CT side would be too happy trading an AK for an AWP. Although Exy Power will be able to buy an AWP into the next round anyway. Even still, though, normally these aggressive mid-plays don't quite go the way we've just witnessed, with an aggressive push onto A and a fairly simplistic round actually ensuing for the T side. It should normally be a little bit more worrying.
Well, not a great deal going on towards the end of the round, although, okay, doesn't matter. Flit was looking to get a bit cheeky, but Cressy makes quick work of him, so no extra weapon, no extra kill. As, yeah, Pause coming in. Pause, this is it. This is last chance saloon for them. It will be curtains after this, I feel, if they cannot win this rifle round. Going to be spending every penny, pretty much, on most of the players. A double-up setup, perhaps? Is that what they're talking about? I mean, Jerry not adverse to it. Almeza not adverse to it either. And it looks like that's what they're going to go for. So only face crack with any money remaining. It's going to be tight if they lose this round. They need to take this, I think. The money for the T side is pretty decent. Should be able to buy up for 1 or 2 more losses. But the CT side, yeah, I mean, sure, you get the max loss bonus or whatever. But they've not built it up to that level for starters. And secondly, they're on the CT side. 3,400 is not enough. So they need to, at worst, save things. At best, win the round. An aggressive play towards B might just be what the doctor ordered. They will pick up those first 2 kills pretty easily. And it's an early advantage, a strong advantage for Forze. And it is just dropping like a diamond straight into their hand. A gift from the gods, perhaps, coming into this round.
Oh. The T's definitely looking like they need some sort of redemption here. Maybe a hero needs to be born. And while we have seen a good turnaround from Cressy, at least in the second half, he's been playing very well. Some multi-frag rounds, but just look at how passive we see the CTs at the moment. Okay, sure, over towards the B site, you can see Jerry Moore playing anti-flash. Meza just waiting with his AWP, but on the A side, they really are just set all the way back deep in towards the side, not going to allow for any wraparounds. Hot flash is going to be thrown out just to spot if there's anybody there. And actually, Meza, I think he expected a flash. It more was just a bait and switch, get the focus onto him anyway. And Jerry's going to go continually aggressive through the smoke. Now it's down to Meza, but, well, the flashbangs leaving Stefan completely blind. So many nades being thrown through. He needs to pull off something impressive. And although he'll sneak past one and actually get the kill onto Meza, it's not going to be anything more. 13-12, Forze do break back. But as we mentioned, the rounds in a row for the T's going to make things quite difficult in terms of, well, being able to get themselves broken.
Yeah, the string of rounds is going to be difficult for Forze here for sure. But the double up setup certainly working in places. Obviously, those early frags that came in definitely going to be helping them out. Molotov does not quite meet the mark, but it's okay. There's no B rush, not the end of the world. However, the T's going to quickly get going towards the A-bomb site, and Xe Power is actually the one to find the kill with the Molotov, and another on the AWP. Alternate attacks coming in with some very, very fast early aggression in these rounds, and it's not really ideal to almost line up there. Dude will get the trade, but very quickly dealt with. It's a very, very fast round, 13-13 now, and this is where the money doesn't look so good for the T side. I'm not so sure about these past couple rounds. One rush round, sure, but I mean, if it doesn't work, surely you don't do it again, but then it's on the other bomb site, I guess, is the logic. They don't expect 2 rushes in a row or whatever, but really not working out, and it's cost them dearly here. It's going to be, again, a very, very tight end to this game for the T side. Xe Power feeling it on the AWP as well is never a good sign.
Oh, man too. Gonna be able to find one with the Deeg ultimately, though. Shouldn't play too much of a part. This match continues to go back and forward. The T's, hey, they'll get a buy in the next round. They'll do a bit of damage in this one, but it seems like Forze are firmly into the driver's seat once again. The double AWP will be retained, and this is pretty much it for the T side. This is where they have to make their big play. AWP going to be chucked around, and Slacks will be the one to man it. Definitely not had the craziest of series, but he's had his moments. The rest of the team will be able to buy quite comfortably, but you can see they're taking the time. They're taking the moment. They win this round. They at least make things a little bit more difficult for Forze to buy into the next. They lose it, and well, they're in a trouble of their own.
Here we go then. Into the make or break. Obviously for that spot in the semi-finals to join Movistar Riders, all to play for. It has been a hell of a long series in total, thanks to some wonderful delays early on. But kind of worth it in the end. It's been some pretty decent Counter-Strike towards the end, at least. And I feel like the true victor are going to be crowned. We'll obviously find out probably after this round who that is going to be. I think it's going to be very hard for both these teams to bounce back from a loss here. do like this from Mantu, crouching under. They've gone for this boost a few times. Great flash comes in as well from Stefan, finding the player on the bottom, doing a bit of damage onto Almeza, but at the very least forcing him back and not getting over aggressive on the peaks. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Crack takes matters into his own hands. Almeza is able to get that kill. It draws some rotations across from the CTs as well, and now it is alternate Attax who find themselves on the back foot after a great early play. Just kind of slips through their fingers slightly, and now they're going to have to try and recover something back.
And to waiting around the edge of the smoke, his teammate just holding onto the bomb and maybe hoping that nade will have killed off someone and at least made something a bit interesting. But the fact is, I quite like the setup they've got. They still have the anti-flash position, and by the looks of it, the T's, after not finding anything, are going to rely more on Cressy to try and make the play here. Be lining up the smoke through the gap. Flashbang go out. The rest of the team a little bit further behind than maybe they would have liked. They are going to slowly make their way forward. Crack still sat in the pit. He's going to be the real man to deal with here, and already doing so much damage. Leaves it all on to Slacks, and he's not going to achieve anything here. 15-13 map and series point. A chance to face off against the Movie Star Riders in that semi-final, and maybe even take on Epsilon, who are still sat waiting in that grand final spot. Either way, alternate Attax have to try and make things work with fairly little here, as the current scoreline sits 15-13. Well, thereby is not pretty.
Oh, but the shots are landing. Looking good early on. Flip makes a solo play of his own, though. Going to drop that bomb. Able to back away. So a 1-for-1 trade. Kind of going to work out for the T's. Not the best of flashbangs and Slacks on that scout. Given an opportunity for another kill. It's not as flashy, but early damage taken by Flip means he's on low HP. Crack as well going to get taken down. And the weak buy is worked out. Why? Because Forze are just over-facing. Overconfidence, maybe? Or, you know, panicking, feeling like losing that first pick, they need to recover things back. But all the same, it's very quickly a 1 versus 4 that I think Almeza wants nothing to do with. So it's going to come all the way down to the wire here on the final map. The full 30 rounds.
Yeah, with his save, they definitely have enough money to buy into the next round. So, but they probably would anyway, and they're going to anyway. But the point is, his AWP makes it a good buy rather than a bit of a weaker one, especially considering Jerry's a little bit low on cash. Tease themselves. I wouldn't be overly surprised if maybe 1 or 2 players went hunting, but it's one of those situations where you want to make sure that your buy is going to be as strong as it can be. You don't want to risk giving too much over, especially with the way that the rounds have gone. Forze are expected to have a fair bit of cash here, so sacrificing even a player when realistically they're still going to be able to buy it, not worth it at all. I'll be interested to see if Forze do go back in for a double AWP, and my question's answered within a second as straight away XE Power purchases one. Obviously, weapons now are going to be juggled around in order to make sure Jerry has a purchase. But yeah, as you said, right down to the wire, 15-14, and well, realistically now, it is anybody's game.
This is where it gets into very, very dangerous territory. Nobody wants to be that first player to make the mistakes, or to make the one mistake even that could turn the tides of battle. We'll have to see here. I think again, this pause coming through, they're sort of trying to figure out, do we go for, you know, a bit more of an unorthodox buy? I feel like Flit and Crack are going to pull out what we've seen for the most part, you know, the Orgs probably. I also feel that because of how long this game has gone on, we've got a bit of a WC, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, what do you mean? It's a TeamSpeak issue. That's how it's formally known.
I apologize.
It can only
Giving
be known
away
as
trade
TeamSpeak
secrets
issue. Yeah, it's either if you need the toilet, you have a pizza delivered, you know, or other food is available, of course. So don't forget that. But yeah. Of course, luckily for many of you watching at home, if you do love some NA Counter-Strike, there's not going to be that much of a break because this has been such a long series.
True, actually.
Unfortunately, you do get much worse commentators, whoever they are. I actually don't know who it is, but you know, like, they're obviously going to be worse than us because we're exceptional. But yeah, so after this game is done, just make sure you stick around.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's due to start in like kind of the next half an hour or so. So yeah. Anyway, final round of regulation here. Great flash coming in from alternate Attax. Almeza taking an advanced position. He wants to go for the peak. He will, or gets the collab. Not quite the double kill, but he will be happy with the back away. And I think he might just have caught the fact that he also took down Stefan to low HP. Now it is certainly their round, and therefore their game to lose. Such a great early advantage coming in for the CT side.
Yeah, that is a painful one. Obviously, both trying not to get hit, caught out. I'm not going to boost Slacks over, but isn't going to be able to find anything just yet. And, well, Almeza sat. They're playing this sort of setup again. Jerry in the anti-flash. Almeza, oh, he's almost handed a kill there. 45 seconds up and coming on the clock, and this could be the beginning of the end, but actually the wide peak faces into the remaining player, and now this leaves Jerry with a hell of a lot to do. The full rotation is going to come in from the T side. You can see Power looking to try and rotate in himself. Jerry does still have a smoke. The question is, he's not going to get the chance to use. He's going to try and do it all on his own, but in fact, he's just traded out. Power, what is that play? Why would you run through the smoke in that situation? That is the suicide play that may have taken us to OT.
I mean, with the open hand as well, like on his own, it is really not optimal. Obviously, no save option at all. The TT is going to have to go for this. Going up on the boost, I don't really think going to spot anyone out. Stefan creeping around, will get taken down. Good trade comes in from Cressy. Flit though with the 1 versus 2 with it all to do. He knows where 1 is, but he's not going to be expecting Dude in Dark, and he will get taken down. It's the overtime for this third and final map. As a questionable play, a great start, but, you know, that wide peak from Almeza, really not ideal, and then Power just going crazy through the smoke. I mean, it's all over the place in the end. Panic sets in, I think, and yeah, we're making our way to the overtime in a round that, like I said at the start, Forze should have won.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those sort of positions where you try and be the hero. Like, you see an opportunity, you think, they're not going to expect anybody to run through the smoke, and you do something that you wouldn't normally do. As you said, it's high pressure moments, and that's just a big mistake, really, like, from a man who has been pretty good throughout this match. So, in all honesty, yeah, I can't obviously condone what he did, but I understand the sort of situation that's come about. So, yeah, 15-15, OT, coming up.
Well, this is where teams can often fall flat, to be fair, but, you know, once the pressure is off, you kind of think as soon as, you know, it's an easier mental scenario, one team's going to come out on top, but we'll see. We'll see. It's off for a couple rounds, and then again, that match point, the klaxon comes in, and it all snaps back to reality. But the double up setup, going to be fairly consistent from Forze with the 16k available. It is certainly doable all 3 rounds, I feel. It depends on how it goes, you know, if they lose the 2 pretty decisively or whatever. But it should be fairly simple is what I'm trying to say. Almeza, though, gets aggressive once again. This is what I'm talking about, that confidence coming in. Going to find 1. Wants to go even further by the look of things. There's the trade frag. Attempts to come through, not quite going to land. Stefan as well, playing it very, very passive. Could have caught him running away. Almeza back on the angle too, might not be expected. So Forze with an early advantage. Could get a lot better for them, but beautiful stuff from Slacks. That is so good. Just perfectly played, and it's back into a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, same sort of scenario as before. I almost wish that Almeza had like a middle button, because he seems to have a all-out aggro button and nothing else. Like, I just want one that's a little bit further back, where he gets the pick, fantastic, and then he goes, now I'll play with my teammate. Because it's not like he's the solo player. He doesn't need to be that aggressive. Double smoking towards that CT spot. Nerves clearly starting to tick in a little bit here, but not for Jerry. A great double spray down, and this time he has the support of Exi Power to help him out in the end. 16-15, lead taken by Forze once again. Of course, so much money for the T side. There's not any worries when it comes to finances. And now we get to see whether or not they can break back.
I don't know. I think, again, that momentum, Forze, they finally get their 16th. But their confidence seemingly higher now that we're into overtime and that there is, like I say, a little bit less pressure on them. Alternate Attax going for a very similar opening kind of play, but this time with a few more men. Jerry holding the angle. About to get a bit of a surprise. They're both holding it, in fact. Jerry does get taken down pretty quickly. Almesa does get one just before the smoke blooms. Going to back away very quickly as some fast rotations coming in, but he's Molotov'd out. Going to have to let that be bomb site go by the wayside. And now into a 4v4 retake. Trying to find some cheeky frags through the smoke on a few different angles, but ultimately the CT is going to be locked out here. I think they're going to need some pretty good utility. These post plants are quite good. 2 players playing in banana. One in the water pit area, whatever you want to call it, is going to be very hard to deal with, especially with this counter utility from the T side.
Yeah, already. Time ticking. Leaving it down to the 2 versus 2, but I think the CT side at this point realized there is nothing they can do. It is just going to be the fallout. 16-16 alternate attacks. Bounce back quickly. Even things up once again. It pretty much has been the way this game has gone all the way through. No real victor throughout this game. And, well, only one can get through to the semi-finals. Movistar Riders are sat there patiently waiting. Spaniards hoping for their opponent to be revealed.
Well, only time will tell. And probably not too much of it left. Jerry, though, is in a sticky pickle here. Gets taken down. Does a fair amount of damage, to be fair. Almesa going to capitalize as well on the distracted players with a late peak coming through on the trade. They already stacked 3 players at B, because alternate attacks every single round so far in overtime have gone for this early aggression in banana and ended up trying to go towards the B bomb site. A 50% success rate so far. Looking to up that slightly. Almesa, though, goes for the peak once again. Some dry peaks again. Questionable at best, to be honest. Just play with what you've got instead of trying to force the issue. And now it leaves Flip at the back of the site here by himself. Gets Molotov'd out, but plays it pretty well. Able to find 2, but falls to the flames. Back into a 2 versus 2, though, or is it 2 versus 1 as Slacks finds that kill. All onto Exi Power. Not had the best of games on the AWP. It's been sort of up and down as most of the game has been. 26 frags, still certainly good, but I think it's going to be a difficult one for him to move into the site here. Gets his hands onto an AUG, flashes on through, but he's not getting any information right now. It's so hard. The time ticking down. They're set up in this crossfire now as well. Stefan just playing Ring Around the Roses, going to eventually peek out, spots him, doesn't find the headshot, but just playing the time. And yeah, he doesn't know where that second player is. Too many angles, not enough time. It will be alternate attacks going into their CT side with the advantage.
Yeah, no, some nice takes in the end coming out from the T side. And obviously, well, the thing is, we get to a point where we go, which side is actually the one you want to be on? Like, normally you'd say the CT side, especially with all the utility available to you, but both these teams have been sort of so puggy in their battles. A lot of it is, even when there's an advantage, somebody will be able to clutch it out. Nearly every player in the server is sat with 20+ kills at this point. Obviously, Dude under by a bit, and obviously Jerry off by 1. So it really is just coming down to big individual plays, like trading effectively and basically just standardized Counter-Strike. Like, not anything that we haven't seen before, and more so just, well, I said the basics. And well, there we go again. How has he got away with that? Okay, 2 kills coming out from Slacks. He's definitely woken up towards the latter point of this game, and well, we see everything gets reset when it comes to OT. Nothing matters. Your past, your future. It just matters what happens in that round. And while Slacks has gone pretty damn big in the first round of the second half of OT.
Yeah, looking really good. And the T's locked into Banana for now, hoping that someone was going to get aggressive. But unlike them, alternate attacks take an advantage and they just sit on it. They just hold it. Instead of, you know, trying to extend it with the risk of losing it, they just kind of are like, we got 2 kills, no need to go for some crazy peaks. I got my 2k, I'm good with that. But we'll see, final minute of the round, the execute going to come on through. It's going to force the CTs out. I mean, just essentially nades really taking down dude there. Slacks, though, in at the back of the site, is looking for the ace, as it's all going to be down to Flit. He will manage to find Slacks. Got to find the 4k of his own. Certainly easier said than done right now. Out in the open with the AWP in hand. He's got to go one better than his counterpart on the CT side. Great flash comes through. He does manage to survive a little longer, but Mantu will eventually take him down. And an incredible round coming in from Slacks to find those extra couple of frags from Nubox specifically is going to pull alternate attacks now to 2 match points to play with. It is certainly doable for them. Their CT side looking so good and so confident right now with those AWPs especially.
Yeah, these are the sort of rounds that can pretty much be the game changer. And while Forze with their backs against the wall, but this time Slacks is punished. Sexy Power brings in an AWP of his own and does enough to find that opening pick. The man who pretty much won the previous round for alternate attacks is gone without a trace.
Yeah, again, maybe a bit too overconfident, but nonetheless, a great Molotov going to come in here and actually expending a lot of utility. A bit of team damage comes in onto Dude. It's all over the place at the moment. Extra Power going to take a lot of damage. It's well spread, about 50, 60 damage or so off the back of that nade. Could be all the difference that they need on the alternate attack side. Heavily stacked on this B bomb site, as overtime has been all about B, for sure, at least so far. We'll see what Forze are going to do with the final minute of the round, but with limited utility, it is slightly easier to take the B bomb site than the A bomb site, at least from an equipment point of view. Again, though, with 3 players, 1 boosted up as well, if I am, correct. Indeed he is. So it's going to be hard to get past, turning away from the flashes, but Mantu melting down to 12 HP, manages to get 1 before being traded, but it's on to Cressy. He picks up 1, survives, but Xu Power follows down, picks him off, and a 3 versus 1 ensues. Stefan, there's nothing he can do, surely. I mean, they've got the money, might as well go for it, but it's going to, again, come all the way down to the wire. Great headshot comes through from him, though, certainly feeling it. Got a Molotov available, and Jerry on low HP. It is definitely doable here in this 2 versus 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Incendiary not going into the right corner. At least clears the angle for him, but other than that, he's got no idea where the remaining players could be. And Jerry's going to be well placed. Luckily, the trade very quick. They were well placed to sort of finish off that round. 18-17. Again, coming down to the wire as close as it can be. And well, obviously, no problem with either team buying. That's how this works. The fact is, Forze looking to try and grind this last round out, take us to another one. Alternate attacks. They can finish it here and now. Will they fall after having 2 chances?
Yeah, that is the real question. Trying to go for the wallbang. Mantu is going to see the nades come over. Actually takes a lot of damage himself. A bit traded by the CTs. Again, it's going to be the B bomb site by the looks of things. Great flash to get Mantu off the angle. Molotov to go down as he's now the only one left. He finds one through the smoke. Dude's Molotov as well going to get a kill. It's actually an advantage. Mantu, though, he knows his angles.
He's cheating.
That is so good. That is so good. The 4 versus 2 ensues. Face crack go for the same angle, but not quite going to land it this time. Face crack will actually take him down, but surely that is the advantage that alternate attacks need. Surely that is all that they need at this point. Rotators in good time, a good amount of utility, low HPs across the board on the T side. Kits available. This has to be it.
Oh, you say that. Face Cracks managing to get one. Xe Power is in this clutch situation once again. Avoids the flash. Finds the first. And now it's left all onto Stefan. But he'll quick peek the angle. And that will be the pop of the head. Xe Power dead. And then through to the semi-finals. Alternate Attax. That literally was as close as it possibly can be. Each team winning their map pick. And all the best series end themselves over on Inferno. And, well, I'm going to keep this one short because that was pretty damn incredible a match. I know that our NA guys, Topical and Dust, they're ready and raring to go. So I'm just going to leave it to Scriv to pretty much to send you off on this one. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible series overall. I mean, the middle map, not so great, but competitive on either end. Yeah. And Alternate Attax, surprising for sure. And congrats to them making it through to the semi.
Yep. Either way, that is it for EU, at least for tonight. Of course, stick around for NA, which will be following closely. But yeah, you'll be with Dust and Topical, so you won't see these beautiful faces anymore. Goodbye.